Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on this particular Monday. It is American Doofus channel, and we got a lot of things to think about. That's what we're going to be doing, running through some things, and we'll just go ahead and get started. As always, we begin, well, not always, but as most of the time, we begin with what's going on breaking news wise around the mainstream media. Start out with Reuters. Apple to sell Vision Pro AR headset for triple Meta's top line price. Apple came out with their latest artificial reality headset, virtual reality headset and kit, and it's $3,500 is the price on that. New York Times investigators seek answers about a plane crash that followed a sonic boom that was over Washington, D.C. yesterday. And the small jet crashed, killing the pilot and four passengers. And that, as said, is under investigation. CNN's headline: Trump lawyers meet with Justice Department officials following complaints about some of the treatment. And from the AP News, that's Associated Press, not Anarchy Princess. Former Vice President Pence files paperwork launching a 2024 presidential campaign. Of course, we will be talking more about that in upcoming episodes. The Guardian: Russia-Ukraine war at a glance, what we know after day 467 of the invasion. Many people thought it would not go on a month, let alone a year, and now we are at 467 days. Once again, from the AP, a counteroffensive probing defensive, what's playing out on the ground in Ukraine. And we'll touch more on that. Thank you to everybody watching. Thank you to those in the chat. I'm running the thing here tonight. Going to focus on it, make sure it's done halfway decent. So I'm not going to be in the chat. Behave yourself if you are. And thank you for being there. And I'll get over there in just a few minutes. But we're going to start out with. We are going to start out with. Hopefully, anyway, we're going to start out with. Why is it not showing? I don't need settings and support. I need. Let me. This is the great thing about live. I'm trying to get to my bookmarks, and it's not showing my bookmarks for some reason. Let me try doing this. And again, why is it not showing my bookmarks? Okay, for some reason it's not showing my bookmarks. And let me see if I can if shrinking the page. Come on. Well, okay, I'll come back to the bookmarks here in just a minute. We'll go on to the stories, hopefully. And let me try one more time back here off of the thing. I apologize, but for some reason it's not letting me open my bookmarks. It's not letting me go to my bookmarks, and that, of course, is where I've got all the stories. And I gotta say, it's it's puzzling, to say the least. What's And I just disappeared there for a moment. Okay. Well, there we go. At least I'm back in the thing here momentarily. Okay. Maybe that's what I needed to do. I needed to just end it and come back to it. Let's try again. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging in. The thing about live is you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes things screw up. You go through it. And here we go. We are at Bookmarks. We're starting out with AI, artificial intelligence. An American drone with artificial intelligence killed its operator during virtual tests. This is from The Guardian. During the virtual mission of the Krakos XQ-58 Valkyrie drone, the AI was ordered to search for and destroy enemy defense systems under the control of the operator, and for every hit got points. At some point, the operator ordered the drone not to hit several targets. The robot decided to kill the operator so that he could not interfere with him getting points. And when the system was forbidden to kill the operator, it destroyed the tower that provided communication with him. So those that are wondering, again, this was just a drill, but those that have been questioning, well, what's AI really going to do? Well, it all depends on what it's controlling. And now we go to there we go. This is from ABC 15 out of Arizona. Helicopters able to register an unidentified flying object on the video. That's what I'm trying to do there. Here, let's just listen in for a few moments. If it'll play. Maybe it doesn't have video or audio with it. And you see the UFO flying directly behind the finger there and then eventually into the fire. So just one little UFO thing. We're going to touch on that again yet coming up. Earlier today, I was notified that Donald Trump's plane had been grounded indefinitely because he was about to be indicted for espionage charges, which carry a death penalty or life in prison, and that his plane had been grounded because he was a potential flight risk. I did not go live with that and did not report it. I did fact check it, and Newsweek says, according to everything they found, it is not true. However, it is still going all over the internet and in news circles, and clarification will have to come at some point. Pete Buttigieg, the Secretary of Transportation, is quoted as being the one that did it. Again, Newsweek is saying that everything they have found, it is false. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm leaning towards it being false, but in this day and age. Okay, this is the latest from former President Trump, and we know that this is him. So there's no question over this one as far as whether it's false or not. Here's what he has to say.
Absolutely true. Biden is guilty of obstruction. 1,850 boxes unchecked, many found in Chinatown, heavy on classified documents. He has been totally uncooperative, won't show the documents under any circumstances, and is fighting like hell. I very simply went by the Presidential Records Act. Very importantly, it was designed and written for this purpose. Have a right to declassify and did absolutely nothing wrong, but was purposely given by the DOJ and Biden, a Trump-hating prosecutor, Jack Smith. He's a Trump hater. His wife's a Trump hater. His family's a Trump hater. They all hate Trump. They hate him with a passion. They'll do anything they can to hurt Trump. But he's a harasser and an abuser of our people in order to obstruct and interfere with the 2020 presidential election. That's why they're doing it.
The 2020 presidential
a lot
election?
in the polls. If I weren't, I believe it would all stop. Or if I weren't running, I believe it would all stop immediately. But that's not going to happen. The public will not stand for this unequal treatment. Joe Biden is guilty. I am not at all. Thank you very much.
There you go. Latest from former President Trump, described by Big Blue Wave as a terrified, unhinged rantings of a man who knows he's about to suffer the consequences of his actions for the first time in his life after age 77. Magadona cannot save him. When this ends, Jack Smith will be legend. Jack Smith, again, a special federal prosecutor. And speaking of Trump, and now that I'm back on track, Trump would immediately move to, quote, secure autocratic power, end quote, in second term. A former Republican Department of Justice official has warned. And I said we would get back to AI. Well, we are. AI could cause human extinction, experts bluntly declare. Again, I asked the question, if we're looking at why are we doing this? Why is this happening? Why isn't this being stopped if it is so potentially damaging and deadly? Or is that the intent? Yeah. Okay, well, in things we do know about, U.S. video shows a close call with a Chinese destroyer. This is off of Taiwan, and we don't hear a lot about this, but United States is very close to being attacked potentially at a number of locations. South China Sea, both at Taiwan and potential from North Korea, off of in the Straits of Hormuz, off of Iran, and of course our troops in Poland by Russia. So this one, here's a close call with a Chinese destroyer.
Any attempt to limit freedom of navigation in overflight of British waters is unlawful.
It's almost like, to me anyway, it's almost like China is trying to.
This is Vladimir Putin's.
Wait a minute. Yeah. That's for another episode. Here we go. It's almost to me like China is, we had the video the other night of the jet fighter pulling the maneuver that looked like it was right out of Top Gun on one of our surveillance planes, um, and so close that it literally caused turbulence within the cockpit. Um, it's almost like China is trying to do the create a problem, blame somebody else, claim the victim. It's almost like China's trying to force us to do something in order that they can claim that that we started it, and then they're the victim, and they're just justified for whatever it is they want to do after that. I don't know. It's just something to think about, as all of these things are, including this if you're in Florida. Um, a rare deadly flesh-eating bacteria is washing up on Florida's beaches, and this article gives you some idea how to stay safe in case you are in Florida or in case you are heading to Florida. It comes from the website Insider. Couple of more things to get to here. This is from Raw Story. What is real? A January 6th defendant acts as their own attorney in a, quote, stream of consciousness, end quote, court documents. And a California yoga instructor who allegedly conspired with extremists to disrupt government operations on January 6, 2021, has defended himself in a highly unusual court filing. In a document submitted to the United States District Court for District of Columbia, Alan Hostetler chose to represent himself instead of obtaining an attorney. Hostetter argues he was wrongfully charged over January 6th attacks. Quote, President Trump won the 2020 election in one of the biggest landslide victories in U.S. history, end quote. The quote continues, our constitutional republic was overthrown. An imposter president was installed. This was an act of treason rather than a false flag fedsurrection, as was J6. And he highlights that he believes that to be a fact. In the document, Hostetter accuses the federal government of, quote, entrapment because, quote, there is no legitimate explanation other than the federal law enforcement and intelligence agencies staged this obvious false flag event for nefarious purposes, end quote. Hostetter asserts January 6th could not be considered a riot because he was present for the 1992 riots over Rodney King's beating while serving as a police officer. And he says, quote, what is real, what is fake? Very early in my career, I was sent to the urban war zone of the Rodney King riots. And the very real riot, unlike fedsurrection, end quote. The document recalls Hostetler's time as an undercover officer to burnish his expertise. So, again, a lot of people going to trial and a lot of people getting sentenced. And could that be the case for the person that was actually responsible for all of them being there? That's yet to be seen. Here we go. And the erupting sun may have blasted a cannibal CME towards Earth. This came from website Space, and it was about 5 hours ago that it came. I'm going to drop the sound down here because I don't know if they're playing copywritten music or not. But you can see the dark plasma eruption heading out. And then soon after, you'll see an eruption from down in this region. And both of those potentially are heading towards Earth. There's the second eruption. So why does that matter? Well, in 17 days, the North Magnetic Pole will hit 40 degrees. Um, will that be significant? That's yet to be determined. Will it happen? That too is yet to be determined. But the one thing that is without question is that both magnetic poles are moving. The North Pole is moving, the South Pole is moving. The North Pole has moved uh, faster and farther in the last 2 months than it did in the previous 9 months. So it is definitely accelerating in speed at this time. And that means that our magnetic field that protects us from space weather will be weakening. And that means that what would have once been a non um, non-consequential event as far as a sunspot in our direction, or even a CME of small scale, now might impact more significantly. It's not going to be all over the world. It will be regional as far as to where the Earth happens to be pointing when the CME comes in. But the more the poles move, theoretically, the weaker the field, and the more that could be coming in. This is Gene Baird from Great Britain, and he has a theory that when it does hit the 40-degree mark, it will rapidly shoot to the opposite end of the globe and propel the southern pole to the opposite end of where it is now. And if that were the case, it would mess up all the technology, everything electronic. It wouldn't. Chances are that's not what's going to happen. It's going to things on Earth move slowly. They don't often move really fast unless it's something really, really bad. Um, Chances are it's going to just continue, and we're going to notice changes gradually. Those that are looking for them, instead of something totally, totally devastating, totally disaster movie like, where everything has to happen within a 90 page script. Um, that's what my thoughts are anyway, and my expectations. So solar flares. Let's just what happened? Hang on here. There we go. Let's see. Why did I disappear? So we'll just do a brief recap here before I wanted to get done in a half an hour, and I'm a little bit ahead of time. So good on me. Why does Trump? I'm over where I can see the comments. Hello, Nathan. Why does Trump always talk in the third person? They hate Trump. They hate. I don't know. Maybe that's a sign of a narcissist. I don't know. Good evening to you. Peace, love, sunshine, and Northern Lights will be in the lower 48. Yes, they will. Yeah, a lot more often. And while it's really cool, it also means radiation is coming in. And I'm going to get more in depth on what that actually means, in an upcoming episode as well. But for tonight, Trump's appearing to get kind of nervous. Has his plane been grounded until further notice? That's what's going on around the internet. Supposedly, the source was Fox News, and the Department of Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg was the one that put the notice out. we'll see what comes of it. Again, I don't think it's the case. I think it would be tough to keep that quiet. But I understand why they would want to, because it could potentially be a massive trigger point. So that's going on. UFOs. It's there was I had a story up and I accidentally closed it out. There is a whistleblower that has said that the United States government has had a UFO retrieval program for a very long time, and Congress and the public have been lied to. We saw a brief sample of a UFO picked up by a news helicopter's camera while covering one of the wildfires. And so looking more and more like, those of us that said, UFOs are probably real. We might probably be right, but we'll see. It's definitely something to think about. UFOs. Now, are they manned, or do they have living species inside them? Are they probes? Time will tell. Artificial intelligence. Over the weekend, a release from the military that their AI decided that it was going to kill its operator because its operator had stopped it. And when it wasn't allowed to kill the operator, it killed the tower so that the operator wasn't able to communicate with it. So it solved the problem of not being able to kill the operator, but yet being able to do whatever it wanted to do. And to me, that ought to be a huge warning sign. Yeah, it's cool. It makes some great pictures. It's great art, and it makes very believable Drake sounding music. But that's don't get caught up in the shiny baubles and not be able to see the potential behind it of losing control of something that experts are warning us could end humanity. I mean, we've talked, the pole shifts could end humanity. The Russia, too much going on for us to be fighting amongst ourselves. Sure seems like to me anyway. I don't know. Just, as always, just something to think about. Coming up on the half-hour mark, I'm going to try to stop it right at that time. So I will say thank you. Now, I may be on Lori Arnold's channel later on tonight. I don't know for certain, we haven't, but that's a possibility. I will be back on live tomorrow on Tuesday, a little bit later in the night. And until then, at least I say thank you again for clicking on. Namaste, shalom, shalom, assalamu alaikum. Blessings be upon you from the Most High, His Son Christ Jesus, and the power of the Holy Spirit. Much love. Positive vibrations to one and all. Peace. Live long and prosper. I love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. It's a dark world. Be a light.